Alright, I'm here with the rare, for these days, Destiny 2 video, because the mood struck me to make one. Been a long time since I uploaded a video on this channel, but anyways. On any channel, because it's the only channel I got that I upload to. But I wanted to talk about the Horror's Least, and review the Horror's Least pulse rifle in Destiny. I don't have gameplay because I've never really bothered to figure out how to record gameplay. I play on Xbox anyway, so it might be kind of a pain, but it does have a built-in recording now that I might be able to do something with. But regardless, I'm not a good player, and that seems like a lot of work. I just use my YouTube channel as like a place to vent, kinda. I don't even know if I don't get that many views, if any, on my Destiny content especially. I get some. One of my gun reviews had like 3,000 views, I think. I mean, I've gotten like over 20,000 views altogether on the channel or something like that. I don't even remember. But my Destiny content usually doesn't get much. But anyways, I want to talk about the Horror's Least Adept Pulse Rifle. And a few different aspects of it, and why, at the end of the day, spoilers, I don't think it's a good gun. And I saw Aztecross out there with a video about how it's like, I think he said it's the best pulse in Destiny 2. And you want to talk about overrating, like, it's not close. It's not a S tier pulse. For me, S tier is like the Messenger, Peace of Mind, and as of right now, I wouldn't have put it this way like 3 weeks ago, but I'd say the BXR Battler is also S tier. So those are my 3 S tiers. I don't put personally, I don't put No Time to Explain there. Oh, and Darkest Before, it might be just below S tier. I kind of put it in S tier really, but I don't use it that much. But it's always like a lot of fun when I use it. It's a great gun. Now it's kind of similar to Horror's Least, so I don't know what it is about Darkest Before that I've always liked it. Maybe it's my role. I have to investigate more, but it always seems like really stable, and I don't know why. Darkest Before always performs better than its stats would make you think, because it's actually very similar to Horror's Least, same archetype, and maybe it's the sights. I don't know what it is, but Darkest Before is very good. I don't know if I'd put it S tier, maybe just below. But Horror's Least, I'm here to tell you, Adept, or any version, is not good. You heard it here first, and I hate to say that because I'm a Pulse dad. I'm a Pulse guy. I'm old. My reaction times are slow. So I tend to gravitate towards Pulses and Scouts since I started playing this game 7 years ago in the D1 Alpha. And lately it's been all Pulses because Scouts are just bad. I mean, I don't know what it is. They're just bad. I need to try. They just got buffed. The 180s and 150s just got buffed. And I did a lot of play with 150, which I used the Percy's D just because I felt like it. And I thought it would be really fun with a certain loadout I had with, I think it's called Sweet Sorrow or something, a 720 auto. And I thought it'd be really fun, and it was for a while, but I couldn't really make that loadout work. I played it a lot, and I just couldn't get it going. And so I gave up on it. But I need to try Polaris, Lance, and Jade Rabbit. I see a lot of Jade Rabbits out there right now. I haven't tried it yet since the buff. Let's see if I do any better with that. And I've given up on, I think it's called Sweet Sorrow. It's a 720 RPM arc auto. I thought it would be really good because I thought it might be kind of like a Shayura's Wrath, but with more range and, you know, a little slower body shot TTK or something like that. But in practice, I just didn't like it. There's a lot of muzzle flash, a lot of jumping. You know, the recoil jumps around. Like, Shayura's Wrath is a lot better because it feels so stable for some reason. Even beyond the stats, Destiny is weird that way, and like sometimes the stats seem to lie. Like, you'll see one gun with good stability. Just like Darkest Before, the stats aren't really good on that, but it shreds in real life. Sometimes it's down to the sight picture, I think. Sometimes I don't know why. Sometimes I feel like Destiny puts in fake stats or something, to be honest. I've always said this, my little conspiracy theory. I feel like Destiny lies about. Another good example is Bygones. Remember that gun? If you really looked at that gun, it didn't have anything good going for it. So why was it so good? Like, I don't know. It's like it had. For one thing, I noticed it like seemed to handle really snappy. Bygones felt so snappy, but you looked at the handling stat, it was like 25 or something. I don't know, it might have been a little higher. It was like 30 or 35. It had a really low handling stat, but it always felt so snappy to me. Like, if there was one thing I could define Bygones with, it was like snappy. So that's kind of where the genesis of my theory that Bungie lies about stats, puts in fake stats, it came from. I don't honestly believe it, maybe a little, but some guns just seem to outperform their stats. And I'm always, like I said, I'll engage the whole conspiracy theory side of me and say Bungie puts in fake stats sometimes. So it's kind of like that with, I forgot where I originally started that train of thought. But, so yeah, talking about pulse rifles, scout rifles, oh yeah, with the 720 auto I was using and how it had too much recoil and how Shair's Wrath feels really steady despite, I don't think the stability stats super great or anything. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me to look at, obviously. But yeah, Shair's just feels really stable. It feels like a laser beam, whereas this auto I was using, it has Sorrow in the name, I'm pretty sure. And it's not the 600 because there's like a sweet Sorrow. It's like, I forget what it's called. It came off of Europa, I think. It has like ice on the end of the barrel. It's arc. I figured it'd have a little more range because I think it was out to like 28 meters range or 27. And my Shair's is only 26. My best Shair's that I use all the time is an Adept, but yeah, for whatever reason, it's just the whole combo was fun at first. And at first I thought it was good, but it didn't work out. The more I used it, the more I saw it has a lot of problems on both sides. But point being, I've been playing with a Scout a lot lately, and Scouts are just bad. Probably the least bad one is Mida. And even with these changes, I played with the what was the name of it? I played with a 180. Not to use the Contrition, I saw that in a match today, but a different 180. Forgot the name of it. It's like the Contrition. It's the Suros Pulse. Excuse me. I played with it too, so I played with some 180s. And Scouts are just bad, so I naturally just tend to gravitate towards pulse rifles for the last couple years, really. They've been better. They're not as good as hand cannons, but they're getting better, it seems like, with every patch, and to the point where they're almost as good as hand cannons. So I'm sticking with them because I was using them even when they weren't very good, because they were better than Scouts. And like I said, being old, I pretty much have to use a Scout or a Pulse. I mean, I can use hand cannons, but I don't find them fun. So I'm not going to put in the time to get good with them. And I never have, and the whole time I played with Destiny. My original gun was like a Mida multi-tool like 7-8 years ago. That was the first gun I could actually do anything in Crucible with. So yeah, it goes way back. But so yeah, pulse rifle guy. So I know a lot about pulses. I don't like No Time to Explain. My platform is Xbox, so you know, because I think that a lot of this stuff of like what guns are good kind of is platform dependent. Maybe No Time to Explain is really good on PC, I don't know, but I just can't, I don't like it on Xbox for some reason. It's good, but it's just not, the sights float, and any gun with floating sights just bugs me. And I feel like they're less effective. What floating sights means, if you look at the reticle on the actual dot on No Time to Explain, you'll see it kind of moves around on its own. Not on its own, but if you're like sweeping with the gun, like moving left to right with the sights, you'll notice that the dot's moving a little too in relation to the rest of the crosshairs. And like some guns, the dot's very fixed, like Messenger or Darkest Before. Now I always take the fixed dot. For whatever reason, I've never been able to like a floaty dot gun, and now I've got like this OCD complex about it. So like I don't know if like the gun is bad or if it's just my mind choosing to not like floaty dot sights because my mind is predetermined some weird thing that they can't be good. So anyway, no Time to Explain. That's kind of a floaty dot sight, not a bad one. Like the worst one I saw on Cool Guy pointed out in his review was Forge's Pledge originally. They kind of fixed it and they made it a lot less floaty on Forge's Pledge. Bungie did, but yeah. Anyway, Man, I go off on some stupid tangents. That's why my videos are 30 to 40 minutes every time. But yeah, so just to say, sight picture is like an important thing, and I like it on Horror's Least. But and just laying out my what I consider my S tier pulses. Now, why Horror's Least is not. Oh, I wanted to quickly talk about how the game really worked well. I wanted to say because I had a lot of fun trying to get this, because like I kind of made the mental decision like about Sunday that I was going to go for it and spend a couple days playing Destiny. Because if you don't know, I try to like not play Destiny very much, but I end up playing it. But it's like an addiction. But then I don't do the other stuff I need to do in my life. So I try to limit it, and one of the main ways I limit it is I uninstall it. But I have a 400 meg connection, so it only takes me like an hour to re-download it. But still, that hour and just the mentality of not having it installed and like putting it to the side. It's the same way, and I'm not crazy about this, but like at night I put my phone on my dresser and to charge it, and I could put it right next to my bed to charge it, but then I'll always be tempted to like wake up and look at it, or if I wake up in the middle of the night I want to look at my phone, and I'm an insomniac anyway, so then I'll spend like 10 minutes looking at my phone and I'll never go back to sleep. So I have to put the phone like away from the bed so I can't reach it while it's charging. It's just a mental thing, like put that away. And I know I'm not crazy, because John Rettinger, a big phone reviewer, mentioned the same thing, and he's also an insomniac, how he likes to put the phone away from him at night so that he can get some rest, so that it's just a mental thing. It's like that thing is over there and I'm over here and I'm not going to look at, I think it was Destiny. It only takes an hour to download, but it's kind of also a mental thing, like it's uninstalled, I'm leaving it alone type of thing. Whereas if it was installed, I'd be tempted to hop on there all the time. Especially because I still hop on there because somebody will point out. I hop on the Stadia version a fair amount because like Zero has something good, and I'll have the game uninstalled on my Xbox and I don't have it on PC. So I'll jump on Stadia and grab something from Xur fairly regular. So I don't have to wait the hour install. And I can't play on mouse and keyboard. So it's just to grab something, And Stadia has a lot of lag anyway. I wouldn't want to play it anyway. But I'll jump on there to grab something from an NPC from time to time. But anyway, so the point is I uninstall it, and then I'll reinstall it and just play it, and I'll kind of put it in my mind like I'm just going to play a couple days or whatever. So that's what happened this week. I thought I want the Horror's Least, and I was like at 1583 power level. You got to be 1585 to get to the Nightfall, or 1582 when I started, one of the two. And it was just a fun overall quest. First I had to get my power level to 1585, which wasn't easy, even though I only lacked a couple points. I had to do a bunch of pinnacles, which I kind of keep up with from time to time anyway. That's how I got to 1583. And I was at like 1567 gear, and I think maybe 15 to 16 artifact. And I had to work and get another gear score. I think I got 2 more to like 69. Basically, it was just a lot of fun getting up to. I don't raid or play dungeons really anymore, so I just do all the other pinnacles. It was just really fun, just spending like a whole day just grinding, and I ground up my. I played a bunch of Gambit to do a bunch of seasonal challenges at Gambit because there was like 4 of them, and getting the 100,000 each challenge, or some of them are like worth 300,000. All this stuff to grind to get an artifact power level or 2, because I just needed like 2 or 3 points power levels, and like I was able to get 1 or 2 with I can't remember exactly how this went, but 1 or 2 is pinnacles, and then but it was fun just grinding out for a day, getting to 1585. Then once I was 1585, I had to set about like, how do I beat this Nightfall? I'm not big on Nightfalls. I don't really PvE too much other than light stuff. I mean, I have done Grandmaster Nightfalls before in the past, but it's infrequent. So I had to set out a whole thing of looking at. I knew the Horror's Least was dropping from Corrupted. I saw that somewhere. That's why I wanted to jump on Destiny this week. And also the Lost Sector was dropping Caliban's Hand, which Dado just came out with a video about a good Caliban's Hand build, and Cool Guys had some video. And I probably won't ever use it, actually. I haven't used it since I got it. But also now I wanted Caliban's Hand. I've been getting kind of behind on these exotics, because like if it's not a PvP exotic that I use, like what's the point of getting it? But I don't have Caliban's Hand. I don't have Star Eater Scales. That's a big one. because you gotta wait. I don't even have the moon lost sectors unlocked, and I'm not gonna unlock them. So whenever it's a moon lost sector, I can't do it, and you know it's just and you gotta wait till it rotates, and then. But I noticed that there was an excavation site 12, which I didn't know is a really short lost sector, and it was dropping Caliban, and it's on EDZ, so I have access to it, and it was dropping Caliban's hand the same day I noticed all this. So I was like, ooh, I'm jumping. And that went really well too, because I only had to run it like 3 or 4 times, and it was really short, and I had fun like optimizing my loadout and figuring out what to do and everything. I ended up using Bastion. That works really well on Unstoppables. I think it is. And I ended up using like Bastion, BXR I think was my pulse. And then I went with probably, I think it was a fusion, linear fusion or something. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. Beating the Master Lost Sector or Legend Lost Sector solo. And I did that a few times, and I got in Caliban's Hand, dropped like the 4th, probably like the fifth one. So that was really good. Felt really good about that. I didn't have to grind too much, and I got Caliban's Hand now. I still don't have Star Age scales, but like I said, I hardly ever PvP, and it doesn't seem very PvE meta anyway right now. Anyway, so that was a fun little side thing I did too. I wanted to knock out Caliban's Hand real quick because it was the lost sector that day, and I had access to it and everything. It just so worked out. I was like, hey, I should jump on and get this. I've been thinking about it lately. And then, so I did that too as like a little side quest. It only took like an hour. That was awesome. Felt good about that. A good Destiny loot story. Then, so I'm back to Horror's Least. So I wanted that because I'm a pull shuffle guy, and I know the 540s are really good. So I got back on the Nightfall. I had to. It's been like a whole day, like gearing up. I thought, oh, I'll do all this in one day. Yeah, right. Basically, I spent like the first day gearing up and getting Caliban's Hand and all this, because that was only a one-day thing, where the Nightfall is a week. So I prioritized it, kind of. It didn't take long anyway, as I just mentioned. But anyway, so yeah, I spent all that time like grinding, and I started researching. I wanted to complain about Destiny YouTubers' videos too. Like, most of them are pretty useless, honestly. Like, I looked at for an average player like me who just LFG stuff, doesn't know anybody that they play with really regularly. So I just play solo. Shout out to Marshix. He's a great guy that makes solo guide, or a great solo guide guy. And but I found, like, honestly, I wanted to bitch here because I love to complain, that really the top streamers, like, videos for Nightfalls are useless. To me, the average player, they're useless. I mean, first of all, they all just play Titan and Warlock. So what good is that to me? I play Hunter only. Well, I mean, I have a Titan and Warlock, I just don't hardly ever touch them. And at this point, it's just, I'm just so ingrained to a Hunter that, like, you know, playing with anything else just feels so weird. You know, the jumps are so odd. I'm not like one of these. I used to play all 3 classes, but it just gets to the point where the time, you know, you've only got time for one, and it's going to be 100 for sure. Because the jump just feels like a video game jump should feel, not some weird thing. And then, also, I just like the ethos of it now, and I'm all involved in the class warfare of, because everybody hates hunters on Destiny. I think it's ridiculous. But, so yeah, so, first of all, the reason those streamers' videos, they're Nightfall guides, because here I am, like, I need to, so I looked up a bunch of YouTube guides, knowing my goal is to beat the Corrupted and get Horror's Least to depth, and all that. And all these guides I found really lacking, like Fallout, the top Destiny streamers, you know, Astrocross, Fallout, to some extent Dado, I like Dado, but they really get on my nerves to a point. Like, some of them are just, I like Astrocross, but, I mean, like Cool Guy and Fallout, while they do really good content, I have to admit, a lot of times, really detailed and all that, they bother me, man. Cool Guy has like such a insane anti-hunter bias in a way, and plus he thinks he's so smug. He thinks whatever he wants to get nerfed will get nerfed. And Bungie always nerfs whatever he wants to get nerfed. Whenever he makes a video about nerfing something, they quickly nerf it like they're his dog or something. I hate that. And he's so smug about it. He knows he has the power to get stuff nerfed. I just wish Bungie'd slap him down once and be like, no, we're not nerfing the thing he said to nerf, cool guy, too bad. You know? Because it's always something with hunters, too. Like, if it's hunter related, he'd be like, oh, this needs to be nerfed. But he never says anything about Lorelei. He's not out there beating a drum like nerf Lorelei or anything for any other classes, no matter how broken. Like, he came out about, we gotta nerf Stompies, blah, blah, blah. And how bad it was because Stompies is the only thing on it. And then you look, Ophidian's aspect is like used just as much as Stompies. It's just as overpowered, if not way more. And he never says anything about Ophidian's aspect. Like, Bungie actually came out with a chart showing exotic usage. This is an official Bungie chart a few twabs ago. And Ophidian's aspect is used just as overwhelmingly by Warlocks as Stompies was by Hunters. But Cool Guy's never, he made his anti-Stompy video and Bungie nerfed it. But he never makes an anti-Ophidian aspect video. No, of course not. But anyways, I get sidetracked. Oh yeah, their videos were useless. They're so like oriented towards people who have like a pro fire team. I mean, he's got the speed running. You know, that's all they care about. And man, I'm just trying to barely beat the thing on Looking for Group on Xbox. I use Xbox LFG, System LFG. Like, we're not, you know, and also they all just use Titans and Warlocks. Like, I was looking at Astrocross video that was like 3 Warlocks, I mean, you know, two Warlocks and a Titan, whatever. They never even think about Hunter anymore. Well, how does that video do me any good when I don't run with Titans and Warlocks, you know? And Astrocross guide is just Titans and Warlocks. And that, like, Astrocross doesn't even think about using a Hunter. None of these top streamers do. It really bothers me. Same thing with Fallout, you know? And then Fallout, you know, their videos were just terrible on this Kryptonite Fallout, I will say. Fallout's was just stupid. He was talking about running double special, and he said, like, use Bastion, a wave frame grenade launcher, double special. This was Fallout's video. And then, like, a arc linear fusion, because arc burn is the burn. And he was using, and most people are using Storm Chaser right now. Well, I don't have Storm Chaser. I'm not going to learn the Duality Dungeon. Too late now. It would take me days just to do that. To get Storm Chaser, I don't even own the dungeon. I'm not spending $20 just for it. It doesn't look very appealing to me. On and on and on. But I did have a Tarantella, the perks of playing the game for 8 years and thousands of hours. You have all kinds of crap in your vault. I do have a tarantula, something, whatever you call it, with arc, and I have a couple good PvE rolls because I tend to stash things that, you know, I know are kind of good for PvE. Like, it has, the one I picked was like box breathing and field prep. Seemed like a pretty good roll to me. Box breathing, extra damage. Field prep, I think extra ammo. So I had that. That was the one thing Fallout was right about. Put that in my heavy. But I tried to, I didn't, he said use an arc or a void waveframe launcher. I didn't have an arc one, so I used a void one. He also said use blinding grenades. I didn't have any blinding grenade launcher of waveframe in void or arc. So I went with just one with a waveframe void without blinding, and then I did Bastion, and he steered me completely wrong because you don't need, like, I just started dawdling playing a little. Before long, you quickly realize you don't want any of that stuff. What people on the ground are actually using is scout rifles, so you can sit in the back of the map because it's a freaking Grandmaster or a Nightfall. You want a scout rifle, a void or arc. You need like one of each because there's a lot of each of those kinds of shields. And then really the guy that I recommend for Nightfall videos that are actually concise is Mactix. He's not, you know, like perfect or anything, but his videos actually help you, and they actually quickly, he showed his loadout for all 3 people in the team, so that really helps you in like a clear, concise way. The other guys just kind of go like, here's the loadouts, and they put on the, you know, the character's stuff on the screen for like 1/8 of a second. You gotta freeze frame it, and, you know, it's just sloppy and terrible, man. That's what Fallout did. Mactix like puts a graphic up there with each gun and everything, for all 3 players, and kind of like what you can use instead of, and, you know, it's just concise and so much more useful. So from Mactix video, I learned the correct thing after Fallout had wasted my time, like infusing Bastion and all this other crap up that nobody actually uses that I saw. you use a scout rifle, which I ended up using Aisha's Embrace, and then Arbalest. Mactix tipped me off to that too. Arbalest, I had completely forgotten about it. It's really good and high-end stuff for a couple reasons. It gives you more punch, in your special slot, because you either got to go double primary, but you don't want to do that. Just let somebody else, because you can only use one champion if you're not using double primary. But I just used Unstoppable on my scout and let the other team members handle the other types of champion, and there's only one in that. And Arbalest is also really good though, because it kind of overcomes match game, and you can pierce shields with it. It's really good because of that. Because there's a few solar shields in there that nobody tends to take solar in. It's all arc and void. So it's really good for cleaning up those few solar shields you'll find. And it's just really good for damage too. Arbalest, I forgot, it's S tier, man, for high-end PvE content. I remember it was like considered overpowered for a while, and that's why. So I ended up running Aisha's Embrace, Arbalest, and Tarantula, whatever. And anyways, so I spent a whole lot of time in LFG, and typically it was kind of a disaster for a long time, as LFG tends to be. I kept getting idiots who would be like, no mic, Grandmaster. And, that's what I prefer. I do like most of my pinnacles and stuff, no mic, that require like 100k nightfall. Always no mic it, because you can just blow through, and I don't feel like talking to anybody, and nobody feels like talking to anybody else. So there's increasing amount of no mic stuff on Xbox LFG. But it's pretty tough to no mic a Grandmaster. I was thinking you could probably. You just need a team that knows what they're doing, each one of you individually, since you're not talking. So I kept no micing, and I'd get in these idiot groups, man. They pissed me off so much, where like the people were totally unprepared. They put up a no mic Grandmaster post, and then it's some idiot freaking arrogant kid, probably. As soon as you go in there, after they die like 8 times, and then or you may die once or twice, the other guy may die, and then they boot you. That happened to me like 4 or 5 times. They boot you out of the fire team like, oh, you're the bad. They can die 8 times in the first section, and maybe you die once and they boot you. Oh, that pisses me off so much. They're so arrogant. Like, basically, it's all these freaking kids who think, oh yeah, I'll just blow through the Grandmaster, no mic. And then they realize it's hard, and within 30 seconds, so they leave. A lot of times they leave, in the first area when they realize it's going to be really freaking hard. Like, they leave, they quit out, one of the other guys leaves, and they just wait. It just wastes everybody's time. You do this like 5 times, finding different groups, getting in the different group, getting invited, all this crap. And then they just, like half the time, they just split or they boot you. That happened to me like 3 or 4 times. Like one time, I swear I got in there and I was thinking, oh, I messed up my loadout. I forgot to do this or that. So I just pressed menu, and this was just literally for like 10 seconds to like look at my character. Maybe like 15 seconds. It was not long at all. Right in the first section, I wasn't taking. We hadn't even started really, and he boots me. Like, oh, this guy's just fucking around in his menu, so he's not playing. Get him out of here. What the shit, man? I messaged him. I messaged him like, dude, I thought I messed up my loadout, and because I thought I had messed up something. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't like my guns. It was some armor thing. I don't even think I did, but I was just double checking it, and he boots me. Oh my! Within like 10 seconds. Like, who does that? These clowns, man. I messaged some of them like hate mail, like, quit wasting people's time, dude. That's what they're doing, man. They get you in there and set up, and you think you're gonna go, and they play for like, a varying amount of time, like 1 to 5 minutes, and then they quit. Somebody leaves. They die over and over because they're stupid. You die once and they kick you. Like, oh, this guy's bad. When they can die 10 times and it's okay. That kind of crap. Oh, it's maddening. LFG is its own like thing of annoyance. But eventually I slowly worked to where I got to a master level, and I did like 3 of those. I figured I didn't want to do master, but I would take them if I could get in a group, and you could know. So I did like 3. Probably most of them were no mic, I think. And I figured I needed the experience. I slowly learned the Nightfall. Slowly you know, because there's certain sections where you got to do champions in a certain order and this and that. The ogre section, like I didn't know all that was a thing, and it's annoying. I thought you could just play the damn strike. No, you got to kill shit in a certain order in the ogre room and this and that. And I was confused as to what the order was. Mactix kind of helped with that, but it was still a little confusing. And like other people, you need the other people. If it's no mic, the other people aren't going to do it. They're just going to kill whatever they want, and they're usually too dumb to know that you're messing up your platinum run. And anyway, but I completed like 3 or 4 on master over time, which was good and I knew that's why I was kind of taking it sometimes, because it got me kind of familiar with the strike a little bit, learn what to do. The rewards are pathetic on master. I mean, I'd get like 2 enhancement cores and like nothing else, or maybe like a bow, a legendary bow. I don't even use bows. It was so bad. I was thinking like, man, the rewards on master are just terrible. Maybe because we weren't platinum too. I don't know. Was part of it, but I was hoping to get a Horror's Least, because I don't really care that much about if it's adept or not. I mean, I prefer adept, but I didn't get a Horror's Least. And then finally I got in a 1 Grandmaster, and I think we no-mic'd it. It was kind of half mics. He said no mic, but then somebody was on a mic. I had mine on too, even muted, so I could hear him. So he was talking a little here and there, and I told him I could hear him at one point, but mostly I kept my mic on mute. So it's supposed to be no mic, but it was like a little mic. I don't remember. I think that's the first Grandmaster we beat. We screwed up the platinum though. I think because they didn't do the ogre room right. But at least I beat it on Grandmaster, so that was nice. And I got I didn't get a Horror's Least though, and I was like, dang it. But I had changed up my loadout so much, I finally jiggered my loadout for PvE with like 10 resilience. It's a PvE meta now. I had never done that up till this point. I totally spent like a bunch of time maximizing my loadout for endgame PvE, which I hadn't done in forever. I learned from some of these videos you want to use I even use some of the wells, which I never do. I used the Reaping Wellmaker, and then the Well of Tenacity, because I saw Fallout was doing it on one of his guides. But I will say I don't think Well of Tenacity is really actually good, not as it is, because you're so far back in Nightfalls, you don't pick up the wells that much. I don't think it was worth it, but I mean, what the heck, I didn't have anything else on those mod slots, I don't think. But yeah, it's just fun. I finally got my resilience up to a 10 resilience build on my hunter that I had never done up till now. I'd just been running him in PvE with 3 resilience like I do in PvP. Which makes you really squishy. I made an Omnioculus build, which I've never really used Omnioculus in PvE. I always use Wormhusker. Omnioculus, I'm not impressed with it. I don't get it. Now, it could be that I just need to use it more and sort of understand what the benefits are more, but I don't get it, because to me, I like Wormhusk Crown because when I dodge, I get a chunk of health, so it really increases my survivability. I'm going invis on dodge anyway. And I'm going invis when I throw a grenade anyway, a smoke. So what does Omnioculus gain me? It gains me a second smoke charge, which the second one charges really slow on any of those 2 charge exotics. And it gains you damage resistance when you're invis or your team, and I think you get your smoke back when you invis your teammates. Those are the only benefit. Those are the benefits, the big benefits. Okay, like I said, the second smoke grenade is not a big deal because, first of all, if you have dodge and 10 mobility, I want 10 mobility and just a little bit lower recovery. So 10 mobility, 10 resilience, and 4 recovery or something. But yeah, if you have your dodge up a lot with 10 mobility, and I think I had a utility kickstart on too. I used Void Hunter, of course. If you have your dodge up a lot of time. When you don't have your dodge up, you're going to have your smoke up probably, So you almost always have invis. So you can do the little double Shatter Dive Invis too. So you almost always have Invis, like, well, what do you need a second smoke charge for, you know? And it's, like I said, the way those double charge exotics works, the second one charges really slow, so you barely ever actually get to. No, I guess one benefit is once you use the first one, and like I said, the second one's at 30%, then the second one starts charging at the normal rate, so it does help you there. I mean, it starts, so you're already 30% charged towards your next smoke. You do get that benefit, but like, and as far as like smoking your teammates, I never really end up doing that. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, probably most of it is just my mentality, just I'm not wired to be using it. But, and like, it gives you damage resistance while invis. So, I mean, you don't get shot while you're invis. That's the whole point of invis. You know? Now, occasionally, I guess you can take some flak, you'd say. But 90% of the time, when you go invis, it's like instantly you don't get hit anymore, you know? And that's where Wormhusk Crown comes in, because it gives you the health bump. To me, it's better than the damage resistance, you know? And you're not getting hit, you know? Once you go invis, you're not getting shot. What do you need damage resistance for? It's kind of weird to me. I mean, like I said, I guess you kind of get hit. You can get hit a little bit kind of by shrapnel and stuff sometimes when you go invis. Or they may not like instantly stop shooting you. You might get hit by like one shot or something. But it hardly ever happens because I use invis all the time. It's pretty much like invis means they stop shooting you right that millisecond, you know? And plus, Wormhusk gives you at least as much benefit with the health bump, in my opinion. Actually, more. It feels more natural because it's like you're dodging out of danger and you get a big chunk of health. It's like maximum survivability mode. And to me, the chunk of health is better than damage resistance. And like I said, you can smoke your teammates. So what? That as soon as they fire, it's gone. It helps in the Nightfall people. There's a couple areas where people want you to smoke them so they can run through an area. But even those I found were kind of stupid. Like, they're running like 5 feet, and is anything really shooting at them? There's like 2 areas, and nothing really shoots you anyway in those areas, I noticed. Like, I don't think you need it. And, like I said, damage resistance. Well, if you invis a teammate, they're going to shoot or do something within 2 seconds anyway, so now they don't have invis anymore. And I guess you can use smoke grenade back when you invis teammates. I mean, I guess. Like I said, I think mostly it's just I'm not wired to use it yet. But I didn't like it, and I switched back to Wormhusk because you get all those benefits. I mean, you get more survivability with Wormhusk, in my opinion. And I don't care about... I can still smoke without Omni anyways. Like the parts where people want you to smoke them so they can go invis and run past something. You can do that. You do that without Omni, Omni doesn't gain you anything, really, in my opinion. I know Mactic swears by it, but I'm sure it's good for high-level stuff. But he's wired for it, and I'm wired for Wormhusk after all these years. But anyway, so I ended up using a Wormhusk build. But anyways, finally, man, I almost lost faith this happens anymore. But I got that good LFG that always happens. Man, this dude, I got on with this dude. He was an adult. He was very laid back. He was playing with like a clan member. They were both pretty good. He was so good, man. He was so good. He knew every in and out of that strike. And you find a lot of people like these in Destiny. They're like the heroes of Destiny, man. Finally, at the end of like 4 a.m., the end of my play session, I got in with this guy and his buddy, and they were so good. They were chill. He was a nice guy. He knew the strike like the back of his hand. He'd be like, okay, do this, kill this, do this. I mean, he was good, and he knew what he was doing. It was so nice, man, after all these disasters and crappy LFGs and stuff. And basically, he took me through 2 runs. They're almost carries, not. I wouldn't call them carries, but they were kind of like I always having to tell me what to do because I'm not. But I learned a lot too, though. Is the thing. That's the thing. You spend time with the strike, you learn it. So, but yeah, it was wonderful. He took me through the first one, and I got a Horror's Least. Platinum Grandmaster completion. Probably my first Platinum Grandmaster. But it wasn't. It was a terrible roll. It was like Turnabout and something else. I mean, it was like the worst roll possible almost. It was like 2 perks I wouldn't use. Let me see what the perks that are available here. It was Turnabout and Compulsive Reloader, I think. I mean, it was bad. and the other one was like Steady Hands or something. I think it was like Steady Hands, Compulsive Reloader, and because they have two, it has like two in the first column, I think. It was so bad, but hey, I had an Adept Horse at least. But man, the roll did kind of ruin it. I'm not usually super picky about rolls, but so he's like, oh, you know, he was looking for kill clip. He was like, man, I cannot get the kill clip. You know, it's the 20th run. I can't get it. He's like, you want to run again? I was kind of like, well, all right. You know, I was kind of like thinking I wouldn't, but so we ran it again. It went smoothly again. The runs were taking like 40 minutes, I think, 35, 40 minutes. So probably like the pro fire teams out there are like, what the hell? This guy's a beast. But he was a beast, I'm telling you. And his buddy, too was pretty good. But until the second run, I get this kill clip where this exact roll I have here. I mean, it had almost everything I wanted. The Accurize, the Arrowhead, all that stuff that you want. You don't really need Arrowhead so much on Hordes. At least it has Zen. It had kill clip, which is the main thing. And in the second column, it had a choice between heating up and the Zen. I would have rather had Perpetual, but whatever. It was almost a perfect roll, you know. And it had a stability masterwork, I guess, which isn't ideal. But then again, it's like you want range first, of course. But stability and handling are both positives and good, you know. The only one I wouldn't be happy with is reload speed. Even that's a little helpful on a kill clip roll. But yeah, that stability masterwork, which isn't bad, you know. And so yeah, it's like I had to tell the guy that kept talking about I couldn't get a clip. I was like, man, you're not gonna believe it. You're not gonna believe what I got. And he's like, no way. I was like, yeah, I got kill clip. He was like, what's the other perk on it? I was like, Zen Moment. and I don't think Zen Moment's like the best. Perpetual Motion would be the best, but it's good, you know, it's a good perk. Anyways, so yeah, but then I had to leave, or I left because I didn't want them to be like, hey, go another run with us, you know. I told him, man, I'm just slowing y'all down because they're so good. And he was like, nah, man, you know, these runs are going faster than all our other ones. So I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, once I got the kill clip, I dipped pretty quick. I kind of felt bad about it because I didn't want them to be like, hey, go another run with us. We didn't got our kill clips yet. And then I would have felt compelled to do it. But, well, here's the thing about the Adept thing, though. You can get your Adept mod on it, but I don't have a lot of Adept mods. The only Adept mod I really got is handling. So I don't have Adept rank, and I completed like 2 Grandmasters and a non-plat Grandmaster and like 3 or 4 Masters. I don't think you get them from Masters, and I didn't get a single fucking new Adept mod. That kind of pissed me off. I didn't even think about it till later. But so the only Adept mod I really have, I got Adept big ones and stuff for PV. The only Adept PvP mod I really got is handling. I don't got Adept range, and I don't got Adept. I don't got any of these, the good ones. Adept range and Adept stability would be the ones I'd want. And of course, I don't have them. I do got Adept handling. That's better than nothing. And I see there's a lot of Adept things here I would get that I wouldn't even really want. Like Adept targeting would be okay, but giving up 15 stability, you know. So I'm sure like I will get a lot of these crap. Adept impact, I don't care about that at all. I'm sure there'd be a lot of these I would get before I get Adept range, which is the one I really want. Anyways, yeah, so the only Adept mod I can really put on is handling, but it's better than nothing, you know. Handling is good. So yeah, and I got it. So I finally got it. I got an awesome roll. And I just wanted to, I'm 43 minutes in this video. I want to kick myself in the face because how long these videos are. I guess this is going to be an hour video. But, so I got it now, and that was super cool. Like the whole process of over a few days, getting my power level up, having a plan in my mind, learning the corrupted Nightfall, getting Caliban's hand on the side, learning the Nightfall slowly, LFGing up, having a rough start, and then finally within 2 runs getting the kill clip roll I wanted. Everything I wanted was accomplished there, and I had so much. It was textbook picture perfect Destiny when it works right, you know. And then it feels good. When I also had depleted. When I made my 10 resilience build, I had to like masterwork so much new stuff that I ended up with like 2 freaking Ascendant Shards, which normally for like months and years I had like, I was always at 10 Ascendant Shards. It was really annoying because like I'd get to on the rewards track, there was always like 3 shards on there, the battle pass they call it, and now it'd always be like, oh god, like I can't even pick them up off the battle pass because now I got to think of something to masterwork, and I can't think of anything, you know, I don't know what to, I always had like it was always a problem that I had too many Ascendant Shards, or I couldn't pick it up off the Crucible rewards track because I always had like 10, and I didn't. And it finally, it's like I've been using so many lately. I had like 2, and I had like nothing. It was weird. I literally had 2, so I managed to build that back up to 7 with all these. I got a few on the Grandmasters and stuff, so that's good. At least I got 7 Ascendant Shards again. Like I say, a weird problem to have because normally I'm too full on them, and now all of a sudden I don't have any. But so I rebuilt my Ascendant Shards too through all this, and man, it was good. But now on to the pulse. So I just wanted to shout out that Destiny, how it should work. Perfect, like sophisticated multi-day odyssey to get the loot I wanted. That was awesome and worked out. But of course, this would all sucked if I had never found that really good LFG guy, and I never got my ores leased. But anyways, oh, so onto the pulse rifle. Finally, 45 minutes into the video. It doesn't have range. That's the short reason why it's not good. Look at the range here. This is on my roll, which is a really good roll. Now I saw Aztecross roll. He had adept range, and he had a range masterwork. So he had like 20 more range. I put that in the calculator. It comes out to like 2 more meters. He had like 36.7. Whereas if you round it off, you could say mine's 34.7. It's exactly like 2 more meters. It's not going to be the end of the world, but it does make it more competitive range-wise. But he was using somebody else's account, I believe, to get the perfect roll. So how, I mean, even Aztecross, who's a freaking pro Destiny 2 player, Destiny 2 is his job, and even he can't get the perfect roll, you know? So that's why I'm kind of like, that's one thing he was saying about how like, oh, this is better than a crafted gun because it's just so good or something. And I'm like, no, it's not, dude, because you're playing with a literal roll that no one can get. I mean, I got incredibly lucky. I usually have good RNG, but, and I got a roll that's like accurized. That's a big deal. I could have got some crap mags. You know, I got Arrowhead. The other side, I got like smooth bore or small bore, one of the two. But you know, I got all this awesome stuff on my roll, and like, it's still not the max roll. You know, I still could use the range, but I'm never gonna farm for that because, you know, I always look at a risk reward thing. Like, I could farm for a week, beat my head against the wall on LFG, and never get even another kill clip roll, you know, let alone like all the crap I want. It's just the reward I know is not there, especially for a gun that's not even good, as I'm about to mention. So yeah, the gun's not even good. It's okay, it's good, it's very lethal. The 540s are very lethal in their intended range. Very lethal in their intended range, which is out to like 20 meters. I mean, like 35 meters. But they're not, just like Darkest before. But it just doesn't have range, man. I just kept not doing well with it. I was not doing well with it match after match after match. Some of it could be lobbies. I probably had tough lobbies. But I looked at some of the lobbies I thought were tough, and they were not. So, I don't know, man. It's just not good. Not for my playstyle where I like to be back in lanes. I like BXR. I'm really jonesing on BXR right now. I know it's not the very best S tier pulse, but I'm loving it right now. Because I pulled them up on Gunsmith, my particular rolls that I've been maining lately. I mean, I have a million rolls of all these good pulses, except Taurus. At least I only have 2 rolls in it. But this is my BXR roll I've personally been using. It's Killing Wind, Kill Clip, Ricochet Rounds, Chamber Compensator, whatever. Range. Look at the range of that thing. 43 meters. That means you can, 43.4 to be exact. You can sit in the back of any map. To me, It's like a scout rifle, basically. It's the best thing short of a scout rifle. But scout rifles suck. It's a scout rifle that doesn't suck. I mean, yes, there are a lot of... I also wanted to point out that there are a lot of maps in this game right now that are big. And people always talking about the small maps, but, like, you'll get... It's a pretty good mix right now. You've got... Think of all the big or potentially big maps you've got right now. Rusted Lands, Widow's Court, Disjunction comes up a lot. I kind of hate that map, but in some ways, sometimes it's not bad. But mostly I don't like it. Rusted Lands, Widow's Court, Disjunction, freaking Midtown. That's for Eternity. You know, the new maps they've been bringing in are bigger maps. That's 5 big maps right there. Banner Fall's a pretty big map in my opinion. At least it's got a lot of long lanes that I can hang out in. That's like 6. And I can't ever name the maps, but I'm really bad with map names to this day. Even though I played Destiny until my ears bleed. But there's so many big maps right now, or at least it's a good mix. You know, what are the small ones like Twilight Gap? Even that has some good lanes, or not lanes per se, but some long ranges that you can stand in the back on. Anomaly's like the one that doesn't really have. Even that has some areas where I hang out. I always hang out in lanes or long range areas. You know, you can stand on either one of those sides and shoot across. That's what I do all the time. Yeah, even, I mean, like, so there's a lot of, something like Altar of Flame is a long map. I think that's the name of it. Or The Fortress, one of the two. Yeah, I mean, The Fortress, I think, is the name of another one that's a long map. I would say almost the majority of maps now are mid to long. Like, that's why you see so many people with scouts right now, besides the buffs. Like, it's almost a scout meta. I mean, I know statistically hand cannons are still going to be used like 10 times more than scouts in pulses. But, like, it's tempting to call it a scout meta because you just see a ton of scouts right now. And I know it's because they just got buffed, so everybody's trying them out. But, I mean, there's a ton of scouts out there right now. And, like, Horus Lease is just getting eaten up, man, on a lot of these maps. Like, somebody's sitting back there with a Jade Rabbit. You see, like, Flawless is sitting back there with Tears of Contrition. Like, I just played a match before this video. A freaking Flawless guy was like, and he was like top fragger. Was like sitting in the corners with Tears of Contrition. You know, Destiny's in a different day when the Flawless is, granted it's quick play, you wouldn't be able to take that into trials, but still. You know, and like this just can't compete with the scouts, the messengers, even the Peace of Mind, because it has a 19 zoom. Here's my main Peace of Mind that I crafted with advanced. Well, I don't even have the enhanced perks. I can't remember if I have enhanced perks on it or not. Most of the time, enhanced perks are so little better that I don't really feel like wasting the resources, especially because I'm always playing around with rolls. Like, but for my Peace of Mind, I built specifically a max stability roll because I'm on controller too, and I just noticed like max stability piece is like a freaking laser, so I just leaned into it, and so I run it on Void, and it easily has 100 stability. I run like a stability masterwork, all this stuff. I max out the stability. Perpetual motion gives it more stability when it gets its stacks going, but this roll has 100 even without it. Stability masterwork, everything, and even this has a range of 37.3. That's three key meters, 2.5 more than the Horus Lease, you know. And the sight is not too precise. I like the Horus Lease sights, but I feel like that little triangle is not like super precise. Peace of Mind is like that super precise dot for long ranges. To me, Peace of Mind just kills it in the range because it's a 19 zoom, and this is a 17 zoom. Honestly, I had a 1350 Horus Lease drop that it was power capped. I didn't even know it when I first started this. You know, I think it was just off the 100k Nightfall, and that I first did earlier in the week. And I had fun. I thought it was really good, but it has rangefinder, and I didn't realize the new one can't roll with rangefinder. And it has better range, and it was actually the good one, but it's power capped, so I'm not going to use it. I used it, and I didn't realize it was power capped. So I tried to fuse it, and I was like, whoops. But I mean, to me, once something's power capped, like my mentality, even though I know you can use it in almost everything anyway, my personal weirdo mentality is like, if it's power capped, I don't use it unless it's just for fun or something. I mean, just like maybe I want, even then, I just don't use power capped stuff just because I don't know, it's my mentality. It's like, if I can't take this in the end game, I'm not gonna waste time with it, you know. That's just my mentality. Unless it's something like a blast furnace that just to pull out, because that was my baby back in the day. But yeah, like I don't even consider BXR S tier almost. It's like just below. But man, it's just like so much more fun. It has the hip firing ability, which isn't like great anymore, but it's still good for some versatility. Man, I mean, but the main thing about BXR is you can sit in the back of the map all day. You can hit any range. You can compete with scouts. It won't compete with scouts at the back of the map because they'll outrange it, but it will compete. You know, it can pepper them with damage to get them to back off, that type of thing. And the thing that it has, obviously, you would just use a scout, except BXR is going to beat that scout anywhere inside of 40 yards. That's why pulses are better than scouts. It's not because of the range, it's because within the range, the pulse wins. They have faster TTKs, you know. So that's what you got to remember. Yeah, at 50 meters, the Jade Rabbit's going to beat you, but at 35 meters, you're going to beat the Jade Rabbit. Well, Jade Rabbit might be a bad example because technically it might have a faster TTK, but all the other scouts, and even beyond TTK doesn't tell the story. Like, scouts are just hard to use up close, so the pulse is always going to win up close, or even in mid-range, mid-long. So, you know, but the BXR can compete. It's so nice on like when I switched, I just couldn't, the Horror's Least just don't have range, and it's frustrating the crap on me. You can't lane with it. And when I switched to the BXR just to cleanse my palate of the Horror's Least, like, it was so nice knowing that, like, at every range on this map I was playing out for, it was Exodus Blue actually, but like, you know, you'd see 3 or 4 targets behind cover at different ranges, knowing I can reach out and hit all of those with deadly force. You know, I can hit that guy in the back behind a rock or something, whatever he's behind, piece of cover. I can reach out to him. I can reach out to this guy in the foreground. I can reach out over here to this guy at the left. It's kind of in mid-range. I can reach out to this guy way in the back and touch him easy, you know. It's so nice knowing that. It's just so much better. And I've been leaning into this playstyle lately with Knucklehead Radar, which I never run in PvP, and just lately I have been. And I'm really liking it because it just keeps your radar up all the time. I'm really leaning into this laning Louis playstyle lately. The last 3 years of Destiny 2, I've straight used Wormhusk Crown in PvP and PvE. This is my first time for an extended period of time really breaking with Wormhusk Crown. And it's Knucklehead Radar, man. I'm loving it. I think a lot of it is because I'm using Classy Restoration. And I think next season I'll miss Wormhusk Crown's health bump. But like this season with Classy Restoration, when I'm using a solar class anyway, which is mainly I am, just for fun. Because Golden Gun's like broken right now. Classy Restoration makes like Wormhusk Crown kinda not needed. I think it's helpful, but it doesn't really. So it's like you might as well run something else. And like, I'm just loving Knucklehead right now, man. It's great for this laning playstyle. And me, it seems like people are always trying to sneak up on me. That's all they do in Destiny. And they seem to target me particularly. They're always shooting me from the side. It frustrates the shit out of me. They're always trying to sneak up on me. So it helps combat that, you know, to see your radar all the time. So I'm really loving Knucklehead Radar right now too with this BXR. I'm just loving this playstyle, being able to hit almost any range on the map. You know, also I'm running with a SMG with it, or either a Fusion, the Burden of Guilt. Kind of leaning towards more there's the SMG right now. I want to shout out NUD too. I picked up an NUD, the Gunsmith roll. I think it specs out to like 24 meters range, which isn't as good as my 26 meter Shairas. Again, I don't have perfect rolls of those. I know all the pro streamers have 30 meter roll Shairas, but I ain't getting those. I make do with what I got. I got a pretty damn good Shaira. It's got tap the trigger, this and that. It's good. Yeah, and it's got 26 meters range. And the Inyo is only like 24, although I think I can switch it to full bore and max it out, but then the stability won't be there. You always got to take that into account a little bit on controller. You don't want to cut your nose off to spite your face, so to speak. Sometimes if you lean too much in the range, you won't be effective within their range, you know. On controller, I don't think you got to worry about that on PC, where all the elitist snob streamers play. But anyways, but yeah, the Inyo D, shout out to that. I'm really enjoying it in the kinetic slot. After the SMG nerfs, multi-mock was not nearly as good. And my multi-mocks maxed out at like 21, 22 meters now, kind of close. And they just didn't feel as good when I've used them. And so yeah, the Inyo, the Gunsmith sold and all the YouTubers put up a few weeks ago, I picked that up and it's been great, man. It's like my kinetic Shayur. I mean, it's really stable, despite what it has low stability stat. It doesn't matter. It's really great. Shout out to that thing. Pick up an Inyo D. It's like the kinetic Shayur. I think the 600s are just better on console because they're just controllable more. And I had some success with multi-mock on console too, which is a 900. But yeah, loving the Inyo D. It's a good pairing with the BXR or Fusion. But I'm more of again, I like having ammo all the time, and I'm more of a far back player, so more towards the SMG for a more effective loadout right now. But the Burden of Guilt's really good. I picked that up in Trials. But anyways, but yeah, just so Horror's Lease, not good, even with Kill Clip. And I don't feel like Kill Clip is very effective on it for some reason. It doesn't get into the rhythm of like BXR and Messenger with Kill Clip. You get into this rhythm of like, okay, I got to kill, I melt a guy. Never had that chance with Horror's. I don't know if it's because it's more playing in the mid range, so it's too chaotic. I don't know what it is, but I just don't feel like Kill Clip is going for me. I mean, it's just, you know, it's not bad. It's definitely a good pulse. It's definitely solid, but it's just not working for me. It doesn't have the range. You can't lane people with it, and I need to be able to lane people with it, period. Messenger, I put my best messenger on here that I've been using lately, Rapid Hit Kill Clip. It has 39.8, you know, that's good range. Feels like more than that. And frick, like if you want to say, talk about range, I noticed this says 34.7, this says 37.3, so not that much difference. It feels like more, and those are key meters. But this is 100 stability, you know. This is what, 59? I mean, that's a huge benefit for the piece. It's not only 2.5 meters more range, but now I'm gonna say one thing I didn't really want to mention is that I'm not using full auto retrofit with the Horror's Lease, and I do always use it with my Peace of Mind. So maybe that's giving the Peace of Mind an edge. But I don't like the way pulses feel with full auto retrofit. They start feeling like auto rifles to me, and I just hate it. And I'm a pulse rifle fan because how they feel. Like that brap brap brap. It feels good to me. Like a Syncopation 53 is exactly how pulse rifle should feel to me. Good example. Even though it's not a S tier pulse, it feels really good. Brap brap brap. I love that. And so if you're doing a full auto pulse and you're holding the trigger and it's basically a glorified auto rifle, I just can't stand it. And yes, I use Peace of Mind that way. And yes, Peace of Mind is really effective as S tier. And probably it or the Messenger, what I'd use if that one match my life depended on it. But I just don't like it. So I wanted to use Horror's Lease for fun, like with actually manually trigger pulling and not full auto retrofit. So I will concede that it may be making it a bit less effective, but it's not going to give it more range. Like maybe I didn't give it a true shake because I never used full auto retrofit. But it's not going to give it more range, and that's my main complaint, you know. So yeah, this is an hour-long video. Unbelievable. But, by the way, I live in Texas. Notice it's still 94 degrees at like 8 o'clock. 8:30, something like that. Woke up today, I was 102. And my AC, which normally is a beast, it was weird because I set it for 69 overnight. My AC was 72. My AC could not keep up with this weather. Like it could not keep it at 69. I've never seen that before in my life. And believe me, it's been hotter. It's been like 104 some days. So yeah, my AC's struggling right now. I even Googled because I thought maybe my AC's going out. And the Google said, oh yeah, your AC is only supposed to keep it 20 degrees cooler than outside. I don't believe that, but my AC was keeping it 72 and it was 102, so I had a 30-degree spread, so maybe it's not broken. But anyways, yeah, that's it. Just to say, Horror's Lease, it was a good story, but I'm not liking it. It's okay, it's good, it's definitely good, but it's like Darkest Before, but in my opinion, the sites probably aren't as good. It doesn't feel as stable. So yeah, maybe if I could get that roll with a range masterwork, and if I could get adept range, but again, you know how much work that'd be. I'd have to get adept range to drop for me. Goodness knows how long that would take. I was thinking, what I'll probably do is, not specifically for Horror's Lease, but just because I want it. Next time, whatever that Quick Nightfall is, the Lake of Shadows, that's easy and stuff. I'll probably I may try to like get an LFG to speeder on that a few times to try to get a depth range masterwork to drop. But anyways, so yeah, that's my video. Horror's Lease, not liking it, just not enough range. That's the problem. And the Aster Cross, I don't know what he's smoking. To me, this happens a lot in Destiny, is like you can get a good gun sometimes, or a new gun, and you like slay out there for like the first 5 matches, and you get a wrong opinion of it, because you think like, oh my gosh, this is the best gun I've ever seen. And then you realize over time, no it's not, you know, it's just the lobbies, you know, you got easy lobbies to start with. I think that's what happened to Aster Cross, because I can't explain why else he's overrating it this bad. He probably had like 10 good matches in a row with it and overreacted. So I've done that with a lot of guns over the years. I think like Syncopation 53 was one. I thought it was just slaying at first. It's a good gun, solid, but it's not S tier, you know. I'm trying to think of some others. Whereas something like Peace of Mind has stood the test of time. Trying to think of some others over the years that I really went like, oh my gosh, this thing can't. Even probably BXR. Well, that one, nah, I don't think I ever really felt that way with BXR. Plus, it got buffed. I never really felt like BXR was like overpowered in the beginning, even before the buff. And I don't now. I still put it almost like a little bit below S tier. I just love it right now, so I'm putting it in my S tier. Because it's all a range play with that gun. And, I'll say another fun, I was going to say this has the most range, it doesn't. There's a couple pulses I have, being a pulse aficionado, that have more range than this. I have a Time Worn Spire, that's an interesting one to play with, because the 450 archetype is really good too. I put it S tier. But I have a couple rolls with, I wish now I had saved more rolls of it. But I have a couple rolls with 26 zoom, I believe it is. Like some insane zoom. With the Rifle Scope ST, I think it's called. It's like a really high zoom scope. So the thing hits like, and I have one with like a Rifle Scope ST and Iron Reach. So it hits like 50 meters. That may be the longest range pulse in the game. I'm not positive. And I have that and regularly use it. And it's really, not regularly, lately. Well, yeah, I do regularly use it. It's in my S tier rotation, let's put it that way. Along with Peace of Mind, Messenger, and BXR. I just don't like it because it's another one that I feel like you need full auto. I don't like any of the full auto retrofit, the 540s basically, because I feel like you need full auto retrofit to max their potential, and I don't like playing with full auto retrofit pulses. I just don't like it. So it's a catch-22. Yeah, they're really effective, but I don't enjoy them as much. Yeah, but I got a Time Worn Spire with like the Rifle Scope ST. I had a few saved in my vault and dragged them out a few months ago and found out they slay out. Because think Peace of Mind with like a 50 meter range. That's basically what you're looking at. Not as stable though, but you know, it's workable and they're still like really deadly. Yeah, like why would you use Horror's Lease over that? The only thing that it has going for it is kill clip, and that is not worth it in my opinion. To give up that much range. But yeah, I got some Time Worn Spire. I got one with like a 50, or maybe the same roll that I just switch around perks. But the 50, I know it can hit like 50 meters with a maxed out range. Or I think it is different rolls. And then, but I got one that is like 46 meter range, but it's a lot more stable. I prefer that one. It may be just a mental thing, but I feel like the stability overcomes, and it's still 46 meter range, which is crazy for a pulse, you know. It's like a rifle scope ST roll, but it has more stability stuff on it. Like probably has like a stability masterwork and stuff, and less range than the 50 meter one. That's the one I usually run with, but yeah, that's awesome. And then the other one that'd be a contender would be that Legal Action 2, because I think it has like a 26 zoom. I'm not sure exactly where the range falls on that. It's really high. I don't know if it's 50 though, but it's really high. So yeah, those would be the only two that really can surpass the BXR probably. Or if you got a really good messenger with a depth range, I don't have any depth messengers, but if you got just the right messenger, you could probably surpass it too, or get up there too, maybe close to 43. But it's an 18 zoom, so it's going to struggle. This one's 20. Anyway, so that's that. Just telling you why the Horror's Least is not really good in my opinion, despite the hype. And I see a lot of other people using it right now too, and they're all kind of struggling to me, you know. Like the first guy I saw using it, really, I was fighting with my BXR, and we were trading at best. I outgunned him a couple times, probably because I had the range advantage, but, you know, we were trading, and like, you know, a couple times I outgunned him, and I was just like, how's your fancy, that was before I had one, how's your fancy Horror's Least going for you, buddy? He probably worked your ass off to get that, and now you're getting outgunned by a BXR. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's BXR's better, and it's just not that good. Anyway, so that's that.